In this day and age, technicians have to strive to keep up with technology. And those who don't want to do it are going to fall behind swiftly. Newer tools to evaluate newer components on more complex vehicles is something we face on a daily basis and shouldn't run from, but should in fact embrace. And applying these tools to these new components means understanding how they work. And that holds true to the theme we've been following for the last few videos, component performance evaluation. And today's video is about magneto-resistive element sensors. Want to know more? Stick with me on this episode of Trainer. The magneto-resistive element sensor, like anything else, requires an understanding of how they're constructed and how they function, so we know how to test them and what to anticipate as far as test results to determine if a component is functioning properly or if it's not functioning properly. It's the only way we can leverage our tools to evaluate the circuits and the components that reside in them properly and efficiently. Like the VR sensor and the Hall effect sensor before it, the MRE, or magneto-resistive element sensor, serves a similar purpose. Its job is to report rotational speed in many of our applications in the automobile to an ECU. For instance, a camshaft or crankshaft position sensor, and even a wheel speed sensor. What makes the MRE similar to the VR sensor or the Hall effect sensor is the fact that it does deliver information to a computer based around wheel speed. We know the VR sensor produces an AC sine wave, and the Hall effect sensor produces a digital square wave. The MRE sensor also produces a digital square wave. Its configuration varies between two specific types, a semi-active and a fully active sensor. There are 3-wire configurations and 2-wire configurations, and it's always best to refer to a wiring diagram to determine where it is you'd like to place your test leads for evaluation. Now, again, similar to a VR sensor and a Hall effect sensor, the rotational speed of a component is evaluated with the MRE sensor. And the frequency of the pulses is what the ECU looks at to calculate rotational speed. However, how those square waves in the MRE sensor are created is different than that of the Hall effect sensor. As we learned in previous video, the Hall effect sensor is given a voltage and ground, a range of operation for the sensor to operate on. The signal voltage is output from the ECU, and the Hall effect sensor manipulates that voltage by pulling it to ground rhythmically. And it's these frequent pulses where the signal is carried to ground that deliver rotational speed in the form of frequency to the ECU. With that being said, the Hall effect sensor is a voltage-based sensor. What makes the MRE different is it is in fact current-based. Through complex circuitry integrated into the sensor itself, the sensor sets up a path for current to flow. When the sensor switches on, a subsequent path for current flow is added, increasing the flow of current through the sensor. This allows the sensor to set up a voltage divider circuit because we know when current flows, voltage drops. And it's that voltage drop that is sent as a signal back to the ECU for processing. Meaning when we look at the signal, the transition from high to low and low to high is very insignificant and in fact difficult to see with subpar measuring devices. So why the switch to the MRE sensor? The reasons are multiple-fold. For one, the MRE sensor is smaller in design. Because the sensor's sensitivity is so high, there's no need for a large, strong magnet for manipulation internal to it. The sensor itself typically contains no magnet in many applications. And the magnetic field that manipulates the circuit is embedded into what we know as an encoder ring. And it's for this reason anyone that's ever worked on an MRE sensor and had it removed from its mounting place realized there was no visible trigger wheel like you'd expect to see from that of a VR sensor or a Hall effect sensor. A second reason the MRE sensor came to be is that it's a bit more impervious to heat and electromagnetic interference, or EMI, making the sensor signal far more reliable. And the third reason, depending on configuration, is that the MRE offers directionality in its signal. That's right, not only does it offer rotational speed, but also change in direction. making the sensor an absolute necessity in ADAS or advanced driver assist systems applications that leverage automated parking assist. Now, evaluating the sensor's performance requires an understanding of how it works, but it also requires proper tooling. Those of you that ever tried to measure an MRE sensor with an ohm meter realize quickly it is not the correct tool to grab. Where a VR sensor typically offers an ohmic value in the range of 800 to 1200 ohms, the MRE sensor is far higher, closer to 500,000 ohms or more. Not realizing you're working on an MRE configuration would lead a technician to condemn that sensor unnecessarily, wasting time and money, and walking away with egg on your face. To evaluate the MRE sensor properly, I recommend the use of a capable lab scope. There are many lab scopes out there, but the Pico 4425A is one of the best suited to measure a device like an MRE sensor. The first thing you'll note about the 4425A is the proprietary BNC Plus test leads. As these leads are connected to the scope module automatically identifies the leads. The included for free guided tests that are incorporated into the Pico 4425A's software allows you to easily identify the sensor, what to expect when testing, and where to place your test leads, saving you a bunch of time and energy. And this comes in particularly handy when you've never tested before or are not yet comfortable with a lab scope. The superior capture capability of the 4425A means we can look at multiple traces simultaneously, up to 4 different inputs to the scope at the same time. Its extremely high sample rate allows us to sample from 4 different inputs simultaneously, even at very long time bases. The superior filtering capability of the 4425A allows us to adjust both vertical resolution and or active low-pass filtering. This allows us to clean up even the noisiest signals for easier analysis. But by far, one of the most coveted features of the Pico 4425A is the math channels. The math channels allow us as technicians to capture a signal in its raw format and leverage the scope's processing power to deliver us a graphical view of a characteristic of that waveform. For instance, evaluating this known good MRE sensor, wheel speed sensor waveform, we can see the rhythmic pulses when we are zoomed in. However, when we are zoomed out with extremely long time bases on the screen, the sensor signal appears to be muted, and it's unrecognizable the individual pulses, meaning if a fault occurs internal to the integrated circuitry of the sensor, a momentary dropout would not be visible in its raw format. However, the scope's math channels, plotting one for frequency and or pulse width, will allow us to capture a glitch quite clearly, meaning the faults come to us instead of us having to go find them. Save you a ton of time and energy, improving your accuracy and reducing applied time on the vehicle. The Pico 4425A lab scope allows us to plot 2 vertical cursors and horizontal cursors for voltage drop and or time duration measurements. All these features come together with the Pico 4425A multi-trace lab scope to make for easy analysis on signals created from the MRE sensor and the related circuitry and ECU related to that component's operation, instilling accuracy, efficiency, and confidence in you as a technician, a shop foreman, a shop owner, and our customers. So to fix vehicles properly, we need to know how things work. In this case, the magneto resistive element sensor. Being able to evaluate or analyze the information given to us by the lab scope is only possible if we can view the information properly. And the Pico 4425A and all its capability allows us to do that quite easily and efficiently. The PC-based platform allows us to save information quite easily to the cloud, to a thumb drive, to a visual inspection report, and even email these to other technicians around the world for evaluation and networking. So when evaluating the performance of an MRE sensor, it's not difficult, it just takes a little bit of understanding. Understanding the physics involved and the construction, including the integrated circuitry within the sensor, along with a capable tool like the Pico 4425A lab scope, allows us to easily evaluate the sensor and the circuit's performance. Its unique capture capabilities, filtering capabilities, and math channels make light work of analysis, regardless of the fault, whether it's internal to the sensor, related to the circuitry, or a fault of the ECU that processes it. I'm Brandon Steckler, technical editor of Motor Age magazine. I want to thank you again for joining me on this episode of The Trainer.